Everybody, welcome to the Friday edition of Sales Dojo here at Medicare Gurus in Cedar Park, Texas. If you are new to this, enjoying your Friday, hopefully you are checking us out and wondering what's going on. Well, what we do here in Medicare Gurus is we have agents coming and going, talking about their daily activities, having conversations about their experiences, and just sharing with you what it's like to be an agent in Medicare. So we'll start out today, very simple. It's Friday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday so far. Good. Penny, how has your week been going?
It's been a slow week. I've had some really good conversations, but some of the things are things that are upcoming, that we can't make any kind of changes or do anything for them just yet. But those appointments are coming up. So that's something to look forward to. And then I've had some referrals that came in from family, people I've helped. So that's always a rewarding conversation too. So it's been a pretty good week, even though it's been slower than I wish I could be saying.
Yeah, that's good. Referrals are great. Yeah, I love referrals, yes. How's your week been going, Vic?
Same. It's, this is the trickiest quarter of the year, because people are, even though they can make a move now, they are deciding to push it off till October. So it's trying to get people that do come into contact with to try to convince them, look, you shouldn't just put it off till October. Actually, you don't want to do that. I think sometimes people don't answer because they know what it's about. They do want to talk, just not right now. They have that misconception that either you can't do anything yet anyway, or they don't want to think about that. They reserve October as their insurance time. They don't want to think about it until then, and that's what they've decided, and that's what they're going to do. So they're not going to answer calls till then. But same too, actually, I have my own mother and aunt who they can't do anything until coincidentally October. So things are in the works. So
yeah, a lot of prep, I'm assuming. A lot of preparation. Yeah. And then, even though it seems slow, preparation is still part of your job, like getting ready for, those sales that are up and coming. So it's tough to say like it's been slower because it really hasn't been. It's just you have been doing a lot more prep work than sales because it's just that time of the year. So that is good. Well, that's good to hear. So today I'm taking the advice of Jacob, who's away for the weekend. He's getting married. He always likes to do like deep dive Fridays. He likes to do philosophical Fridays. And I like calling them deep Fridays because it's deep fried, if we're going to get deep. Yeah.
Deep thoughts.
Yeah. Deep. Yeah. Kind of like that. Yeah. But we're not going to get crazy, but it's just like, I always like to break away from our normal conversations about sales and have just like a philosophical conversation and then see where it goes from there. So last week we talked about identity, who we are as a salesperson. Like, what is the definition of a salesperson? So today I was thinking about what is it like to be virtuous, or the concept of virtue, because it plays a very big part in who you are as a salesperson. So I'll start out by asking you, what is your definition of the word virtue when you hear that word?
I was going to ask you what your definition was first.
Well, I have my.
You tell us first.
I have a written definition right here that I took notes on. So that's cheating. I wanted to hear. So would you like me to tell my? Okay.
Give us the textbook definition, and then we will tell you our interpretations.
Right.
Okay. So the textbook definition is, it's an excellent trait of a character where someone is trying to do what the definition is of being a good person. You're virtuous, or you have virtues, which means you are attempting to be good. You want to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And that is a virtuous quality, or being virtuous is saying, okay, I first am looking at the definition of good and the definition of not good. And for me to put my efforts in doing good is being virtuous.
Got it. I'll go first.
Okay.
So how I apply try to be virtuous in my day-to-day work life is when I'm talking to these people on the phone, I'm being virtuous by, if they really are in the best plan, or they're in a plan that's identical to another one out there, I don't move people for the sake of moving. And I tell people that I don't move you for the sake of moving, for the sake of a sale. If you really do have the best plan out there, I'm the first one to tell you, and I'm the first one to congratulate you, and I'm the first one to tell you to stay put unless something truly better does come along. And I'm not going to move you to something that's identical just to move. It doesn't make sense. And then just, give them some good, hearty advice that they can take with them. That particular action doesn't make me any money at that moment, but it's also then forward thinking as far as referrals, asking for the referrals. So that's how a common action I take. That's pretty darn.
So you believe in that
virtuous.
karma,
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm going to put good out in the world and good will come back to me. Have you seen that happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. Yeah. With referrals. Yeah.
Good.
I've had people say, you know what? I am shocked that you didn't try to sell me something, and that I feel like you're being so honest with me. Yeah, absolutely. And either they've come back to me the next year, the next AEP or the next SEP that's available for them, and we did do something for them, or they brought in a family member, or they referred a family member, and we did get business from them because they knew I was going to shoot them straight and only offer something or recommend something if it really was going to be in their benefit.
That's
So
good.
that's paid off.
That's a good
Absolutely.
feeling.
That is a good feeling.
Yeah.
That is a good
And then
feeling.
also it's nice to be able to sleep at night.
I was going to say that's how you sleep at
That's
night.
a bonus.
Exactly.
Because I couldn't. I mean, if I was just signing people up for things left and right and poo-pooing the SEPs, even if they, when they've moved, we've seen a lot of that in CMS, how they've already moved once and they moved again somehow miraculously, we don't know.
The next month.
Not participating in those shenanigans.
Right.
I can sleep at night because I'm going to do the right thing. I'm not going to risk my reputation or my license. And I'm doing right by these people. And I just wholeheartedly feel like it will come back to me. And it'll be much. And when blessings come my way, I will accept them with open arms because I'm like, you know what? Darn it, I've been doing the right thing. I'm going to accept these blessings or whatever comes my way. So that's
good. Wow, that's a pretty good explanation.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. Our moms raised us better, but it's what we all learn about and talk about and have continuing education on ethics, but I don't, for me, I don't think I could be in this field if it wasn't that I was believing I was actually helping people. I mean, if it was just all about money, I think I would pick something different or whatever. But this is a place, this field is a place I can help people and make money too, which is like, it's a blessing, to be in something where I feel like I can make a difference. And like we were saying yesterday about the story with the starfish, well, I made a difference to that lady. I made a difference to that man, and their family, because then their family has less to worry about too, or they have referrals like you, and that's always a good feeling. But, it's how I sleep at night too. I want to help people, and you can't always. There's people we run into that you can't help. But, I just think it's kind of what makes the world go round, help as many people as you can help through the day, even if it's like Kim told a story earlier about how she had twisted her ankle really badly on a walk on the side of the road and had a fall, and hurt her knee. And she was limping along, trying to figure out how to get home or whatever, because her foot hurt, her other knee hurt and all that. And how a Good Samaritan stopped and gave her a ride back to her sister's house. Well, where we can help, if we can do it, and we're being compliant and following all the rules and really helping them, those are the ones that feel the most amazing and they're the most gratifying, I think, and help us sleep at night and all of those things. It's important. So for me, I don't think I would necessarily have picked this field if it was just all about making money, if it wasn't really helping people too. So,
yeah. We're talking about being virtuous. We're doing Deep Friday. So we're talking about what is the definition of being virtuous?
Well, I have actually an example that's happening today. I have actually a really good friend who I talked to on the phone earlier. off and on talking to her for a couple of years about her mom, who's on. She kept saying she's on Medicare, but she needs to get on something. She needs to get on a supplement, or she'd say she's on Advantage, but she needs to get on an Advantage, or she's on a managed plan. And like, obviously she didn't know what she was talking about. Right. So
It was a different story each time.
well, because she just doesn't know. And she was saying, well, my husband, he owns a dermatology practice. So she's like, he knows what he's talking about and this. And I'm thinking, I don't really know if he knows what he's talking about exactly, but okay, well, that's fine. And I would ask her every few months, do you want me to look at it? Do you want me to look at it? Well, now, since I've been here, I actually feel like I am a lot more knowledgeable now than I was 3 months ago before I started working here. So I finally got her on the phone today. I think that I can help them. I think it's going to be a guarantee issue type of a thing for a supplement, which I'm not going to make any money off of. But I mean, it's a friend, and it's actually putting my friend in a better position because she's the one who's managing the care for her parents.
Right. That's huge.
So, and if she knows somebody, and she's going to send everybody to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do I care that I'm not going to get the full open enrollment commission off of her parents? No. Is it going to make my friend's life easier because she's going to be able to go to the doctor down the street instead of a doctor 45 minutes away because those doctors are in a network with the plan that her mom's on right now?
Mhm.
There's a few things that come along like that where you're going to do it anyway. It doesn't matter. The commission, okay, it's great when those come along. I mean, obviously that's what we want to get those, yes, but
Right. That's not your only goal.
no.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be a friend, but if I can get them into a supplement through, even if it's guarantee issue, I'm totally going to do that.
Right.
Because it helps my friend, it helps her parents. I don't even know the fallout of it yet,
Mhm.
but then that's a client. They're clients for life.
Mm.
She'll send me, and
Right.
so will her husband,
Right.
who owns a dermatology practice.
Right.
So they will, so there's more to it than just, I mean, like you make these connections and they know you're genuine and they know you really want to help. And so when you make that kind of connection, then those people are going to send their friends and their family to you because they know you're not just in it for yourself,
Right.
that you really want to help them. So, that's sometimes we don't reap the benefits of what we do today or this month. Sometimes it's in 6 months. Sometimes
Right.
it's next year. We don't know. But I think making the relationships and connections sometimes now will absolutely pay off later, and we just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
You just got to hang in there and just wait for it.
So I don't have $1 billion like Jeff Bezos.
No.
Some people.
He has $1 billion in his wallet.
Right, and his couch cushions, right?
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere with this, which is
Sorry to Go.
which is, but if I did,
Mhm.
oh my God, the fun I would have with it as far as giving it to people in need and changing people's lives and making their lives less stressful, or finances less tight. I just think of all the good things I could do with all that money.
Yeah.
I am not a billionaire and I don't have the money to do that, but we do have a way to change people's lives, which is our knowledge of Medicare, which, it's vital in this, and a lot of people don't have it, or they're not able to make great decisions about their stuff, or, they don't know what they're talking about, things they think they do. We can use what we have to change people's lives in our own way, whether it gets us a commission or not, or maybe a partial commission in a GI situation. So that's kind of our way of doing that, I think, and being virtuous, changing people's lives in the way that we can. And I think also by not really paying attention to really focusing on what commission am I getting for each individual deal. Right?
I never even think about that.
Right. And
Right.
you can't.
Ahead of time, I don't even, I don't even know that I know what they even are.
Mhm.
It's I just
I
am
don't.
Right.
I'm just trying
I
to
don't
make
know.
sure somebody's in the best position that they can be in. I don't even know that I don't even know what they are.
Right.
Like that doesn't even come up in my brain. And
Good. Well, I think that's awesome because I think when you keep track of that too much, you are focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's easy to start focusing on, well, who do I really want to help or give my time to and who don't I? Because that becomes the goal is to make the most money off of each person that you can. And if they can't make money for you, you kind of don't give them the time of day and you're not, apt to do the right thing. All I know and all I need to know is that my agency is giving me a fair cut and I'm okay with that. And I know that whatever I get from each sale is going to be fair and reasonable. And if I do the right thing, the money will come. So I don't even focus on, I think we don't do that either. We
No.
just
And-
focus on doing the right
and
thing.
we have
Yeah.
help here because I didn't know the answer to when I don't know the answer, there's people here to ask, and then I have the answer. So, I mean, I'm in a better position to help people just by being here.
Mhm.
I feel like I can help a
I've
lot more
learned a lot,
people,
too. Yeah.
and I've learned so much just by being here than when I was trying to do this by myself.
Mhm.
So, just by being here and having the support that's being offered to me here at Medicare Gurus,
Yeah.
I really feel like that I'm in a better position to help people
Yeah.
Right.
with the training and the knowledge that I've gained since I've been here.
Right.
So-
I think that's absolutely a great point. That's another virtuous thing that we do, which is sharing information and
Mhm.
knowledge with each other because we want you and we want each other to be better and lift each other up, lift the people up around us. And we do that without a second thought.
Yeah.
And I don't think we realize how virtuous that is
Mm.
because then it just helps you to be a better agent, to help more people, and ultimately in the end you will make more. It'll come, the money will come, and it does.
And going along with what you're saying about it's so helpful to have people here to ask and stuff, even if you weren't the person asking the question and you're near the
You
people
can
having the
listen to-
conversation,
right.
it's like, oh yeah, I had forgotten about that. I mean, it reminds you of things that you may use later that day on a call or whatever, that it's like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten all about that rule. It's like you can do
talking about questions all the time
Mhm.
because I'm
right. Just by listening, I learned
Like,
things
yeah,
that I didn't even know to ask or had not had the
Mhm.
like a reason to ask that yet or anything, So
nobody
it's
hoards that information.
Right.
Says you can't. Nobody ever says, "Oh, Victoria, you used my saying. You can't. That's mine.
Right.
That's my thing."
Yeah.
Nobody says that. It's like, it's actually what I hear. I have my things that I just say like over and over and over again. Just muscle
I'll make you a
memory.
deal.
Right, I'll make you a deal. I heard somebody saying the other day. I was like, "Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
I helped somebody," or I was
Yeah.
like,
That's
"Oh,
right.
she." It's working for her, or she's trying it out, or it's a good feeling,
It is.
So.
I think so too.
That's awesome. I think that you guys have some virtuous points.
Yeah.
I
We're
like it.
virtuous people. It
Very good,
just
good.
so
I
happens
have
to
a
be.
lady
Yep.
that I've been working with that
Yeah.
I can't help.
Yeah.
But because she's calling to update me along, I thank goodness she's done that because she really needs help, guidance. Like she's talked to people she shouldn't be talking to. I said, Valerie, stop picking up the phone.
Yeah.
Stop picking it up because you can't tell, But anyway,
At least
I think
listening to you.
she is.
I mean, I've told people don't do anything about anything until you call and ask me first.
Yeah.
And at least she's listening to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, she's doing the right things now
Yeah.
because she needs to reconnect with Medicaid, which she has not had for several years. And so we'll see how it turns out, but I know I'm helping her regardless of,
Yeah.
Mhm.
may not get a sale ever out of it. We'll see, but I will end up with referral or something,
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
of it. So it's all good. It's all
Mhm.
good. I'm
That's
glad
good.
to help her.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So with that being said, talking about the concept of virtue, talking about being good, being honest, these are all qualities that we are all hitting upon. So let's take it to the next level. I want to talk about our own personal virtues and how we handle calls and how our patience and our emotions are put into our virtues. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to give a little scenario. Okay. All right. And then this scenario, it's it's a very tiny exercise, and it's gonna help us understand where we're gonna go with this and challenging our own virtues. Okay. So it's just a little exercise. I'm gonna give a little scenario, and I want to hear your answers to this. Okay. So you have $5 in your pocket. Okay. And you're walking down the street and you're feeling generous. You're like, I'm gonna give this $5 to somebody. So you're walking down the street and you see your first person that you see a homeless man on the side of the road. He's disheveled, not feeling well, looks like he needs some money. You see that guy, you're like, okay, I could give $5 to him. Right next to him is a man in a suit, glasses, looks very proper, and he's holding up a sign. And on that sign is a picture of a starving African child. And it says, with $5, you will feed this child for a month. Who do you give the $5 to? Think about it. You give this is going to help us get to where we want to go. But you have the homeless man or the man in the suit with the sign of the African child. Who do you give the $5 to?
Oh boy, I have like a whole.
Okay, go first. What do you do?
You go first.
What do you do?
So I know. So I years ago gave money to a homeless looking person on the side of the road. Like $20. Like that's all I had. That
Right.
was a lot, right? Then I saw her walk across the street and get in an Escalade.
Oh no.
The last time I ever gave money to somebody that was homeless looking.
Yeah.
Now I give them food. I usually have
I
a
do too.
box
Or
of
waters.
granola bars or waters. I will give them food. I do not give the homeless looking people money because of that reason. I was like driving my little Jeep Cherokee thinking, you could buy 4 of my cars for one of the ones you just went and got in.
Yeah.
So for that reason, and this is a personal reason,
experience, of course.
I would give it to the
Man with the sign.
African, but that child is only going to get like 50 cents worth of that $5.
Do you believe?
I would have
Okay.
questions. I would have.
I mean, yes, because it depends on the agency of which way it's going through. But because of my personal experience, I would rather that money goes toward that African child because that's a child that isn't able to support itself yet, isn't able to get somewhere. And I don't know the history of the homeless person.
Right.
And because of my experience of that is why I would make my decision.
Okay. I'll
So
bring it back to sales. I promise. I wanted to.
So who knows if that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
a wonky, skewed thing, but that's why I would pick the way I picked.
Okay.
And my own experience, like coming from a very long medical background, right? So, and having been in hospital medicine. So I don't give money either. If I have food or water or anything like that, I would rather bring him the meal, like
My kids
even
made,
drive through
baggies
whatever.
of socks and
Yeah.
things, and we had
Yeah.
a bunch of them in the car for a while. But
Yeah.
So you want to give it to the man because you know the food is going to the man.
But I don't usually give money though.
Right.
And then, part of that
Or-
was like, because
okay.
they're just going to
I
buy
don't-
cigarettes
Okay.
or
Exactly.
beer or,
I don't usually roll the window down.
right.
Yeah.
And so, however, having been in hospital medicine, they do need water because they get very dehydrated. And that's one of the number one things that sends them to having to be hospitalized for a tune-up, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
So maybe you take the $5, go buy some waters.
I would, but yeah, but on the other hand, then there's a lot of them are there because of like alcoholism or whatever. And literally after so many days of not having beer or whatever, will have maybe seizures. So they end up in a worse place. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, but I usually don't give money.
Yeah.
And so I would then I would be like, well, how much of this $5 is going to get to the little kid that
starving
tried?
child,
And,
yes.
and
Yeah.
I would have questions. So I think I would be tempted to buy
Buy something
a
and then give
meal
the food.
and give it.
Totally fine.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
what I
You
would.
know what? If they have a dog with them, then all bets are off.
Exactly, right?
If
Yeah.
the homeless person has a dog with them, then I'm giving
Yeah.
it to the homeless person.
I know. See, I would be still thinking dog
No,
food, except.
I know. Like, go buy some dog food.
Yeah.
Have a
Anyway,
strategy.
sorry.
Okay, let's hear your strategy, and then we'll bring it to
The
back.
King Solomon strategy, which is tell the businessman to hold it from this corner and the whole,
Woo!
and then
They fight
and
it.
whoever like rips it, like you were not the rightful owner. It goes to the other one who let go because they didn't want it to rip it
Right.
up.
Nice, nice.
No, okay, no. But it also
I'm so
Yeah.
you teach the person how to fish,
Yeah.
and then they're like they
Right.
can fish for life, or you give them I trying to
Yeah.
get
You
that in
get
there,
your
but,
Okay, no, but really, if those were my choices, I'm not going to be difficult about
That's fine.
it. If those were my choices, knowing me, I would probably give it directly to the homeless man.
Mhm.
Just all things considered, just because I feel like, and in my experience, trying to go the most direct approach
Right.
to
Help
giving
right here,
money
right now,
Right.
in front of me.
seems to make the most of the donation and the most help. Especially when it's money, they can decide what they need instead of maybe, I'm sure, water and food, but then they can decide what they really need,
Yeah.
what and go to. That's what I would say.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing all of those results.
Virtuous.
Yes. Well, the reason that I wanted to do that was because the point that I was trying to make is that each one of you applied your own personal emotional response to that.
Mhm.
So now take that same concept and apply it to the people that you talk to on the phone. What is your threshold of your honesty or goodness? Not honesty, because you're always honest, but what is your threshold of talking to somebody that maybe doesn't want to be honest with you, like they lie about their health? Or what is your threshold of someone who's mean or curt to you? Are you going to put your emotions into this call, or are you able to separate or give the money to the starving child because you know that the good is going to come of the result of this conversation?
if they start cussing me out or if they start getting inappropriate, I'm done.
Okay, they've crossed in your emotional response when they start insulting you or crossing the line of
Being inappropriate.
that's where the call ends.
I'm just done. I'm
Okay.
like, okay, thank you. I can't help you. Have a nice
Okay.
day. And I'm done.
Okay.
Because we don't.
You don't need to be.
And it's usually, I mean, as women, it's usually the men that are inappropriate. No, I'm done.
I don't know. Ask Jamaica. He's got plenty of.
I know, but there's
Women
a
suitors.
difference. There's a difference
No, I
between
know.
being teasing and
Right.
being fun back and forth and being inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you have your virtue balance and then your emotions to it, they cross the line when they're inappropriate or insulting.
Mhm.
Are you all on the same page with that? Like you are done
Yeah.
when they start insulting. And the only reason I'm playing devil's advocate here is, I mean, absolutely, that you should absolutely hang up the phone or say this call is over. But I mean, my emotional, I'm different. Like I'm going to question why they are that way. You know, I'm always going to let them hang up before, but I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm saying you're absolutely, but
It's not
my question is
fault.
why?
It's not my fault or my problem that they don't have to put up with it.
Mhm.
I think
Absolutely
the
fair.
way I look at it is, I approach it like every interaction I have in my life, which is, does this person or does this thing bring something positive to my life and my attitude and to me in general, which I think just by virtue of helping these people, it brings me so much joy. So if I think every situation is different, but I think I will put up, especially if it's something nasty or ugly, I will put up with enough to where I can decide either we can eventually turn this around and in the end, this will be a positive thing for everybody. Or if I've tried to where, you know what, this person is just going to be taking from me and bringing me down and it's not going to help that person either. Nobody's being helped and we're just going to end it.
Yeah.
So every call's different, I think.
Yeah. And I think the same thing. I think that some people just don't want help or they aren't ready to accept help or whatever.
I'm going to be mean for a second. Why are they picking up the phone then?
Exactly. Well, that's what I wonder. I mean, why did they pick up the phone if they just want to?
They pick up the phone and yell at you for calling. So why are you picking up the phone?
Right.
That's
exactly.
the common sense. But my logic is, well, if you picked up the phone, you probably want to talk,
Right. And
you
so
know,
I
or
usually
yell,
try.
you know?
I don't like immediately stop just because they were mean or yelling or whatever. And I usually try to
I don't
get,
immediately stop either.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
it's usually quite a bit into the conversation. Like you were saying, you kind of get through the stuff and you figure out if you actually can help them or you
Right.
can't help them or if it's whatever. But why pick up the phone? Like they just want to yell at somebody. They're so miserable or
right.
they're so unhappy with their situation. They just want to yell at people. And who knows how many people they've yelled at that day too.
Yeah.
I try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Let me
Yes,
let me be
absolutely.
devil's advocate for you for a second. Do you not have the urge to want to change their mind if they're being that vindictive?
Well, it just depends. I mean, it depends. Yeah, absolutely. I will talk to somebody probably way longer than I should.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I will try to
Yeah.
get them to turn around and figure out that, hey, I'm really just trying to help you.
Mhm.
I want to look at your current situation and I want to see if there's something better.
Right.
Because if there's something better, then you should have something better. Sometimes,
they can't see
yeah.
once you've done that. It's you kind of make the judgment call there.
Yeah.
Right.
At that
Mhm.
point, they're not making a deal.
Yeah.
And it's usually after I've tried. Usually I have tried
Yeah.
to where I have realized this is not going to go anywhere, and that's when I'm done.
Mhm.
I did,
Yeah.
just so you know, Stephen,
Yes.
I did have one of those mean, yeller, nasty people
Uh-huh.
that I was continuing engaging
Uh-huh.
until he hung up on me.
Good. That's the rule.
So I
Yeah.
just want you to know.
Yeah. But I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
I have a thing.
Yeah.
What do you? Here's kind of somebody who you can't really help, but they just want to keep talking because they don't have anybody to talk to, and they just keep talking and talking.
Yeah.
That's
Brad
harder.
Brad was on the phone for an hour just chatting up with his client.
That's harder
Mhm.
for me to end
Yeah.
than anything else
Mhm.
because they obviously need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
That's something that I have a hard time with is cutting that off because they obviously want to talk even though we can't help them, but they are struggling with life and they want to talk to somebody.
They need more help than you can offer.
I can't help them. They need
Right?
a therapist and I'm not
Yeah.
that, but I feel bad being like, okay, well, have a good one.
I know.
That's something
We're also
Yeah.
too nice, right? That's what
But
we're
because
too
that's-
nice.
because
We're
that's-
Damn nice people.
because they're not being mean to me. I
Yeah.
just can't help
Right.
them. And so I feel terrible. It's like, how do you how do you overcome that? How do you get them to stop? Like you just
Give
Ask
them
them
a job
why.
to do.
This is a tactic that I always use.
Oh yeah, I know you'll have an answer.
yeah.
Yes.
How do you end those calls?
No,
Is
to answer the question about
Yeah.
how do you end those nonstop talkers?
Yeah.
Two ways. One is you find where there's a pause, which is difficult, but you find where there's a pause and say, hey, listen, let's talk later. I got to get back to work,
Yeah.
and then that's where it's. Or if someone is just, they do that thing where they can talk and breathe at the same
Oh my
time.
God,
So it's
yeah.
like there's no way of like interjecting. They're like, and you're like, can you just stop for a second so I can? Circular, the Kenny G, the Kenny G, like, just, they just don't stop talking.
And
Those
sometimes
people.
they're crying. And
Oh.
they're just
Oh, I
going
know.
on and
Yes.
on. I'm like, oh.
When those come up, I have to interrupt and say, look, I have another appointment.
Yeah,
I
okay.
gotta go.
That's a
Yeah,
good
I
thing.
always use I got another
I got an
appointment.
appointment.
And they're like,
That's
because what's happening is
perfect.
they're in this hypnotic trance
Yep.
of nonstop talking. They don't even know they're talking to you
Because
anymore.
they
They're just
have
like,
somebody-
blah, 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 and they're like, they forget the phone's there,
Because
you know?
Because somebody's
Yeah.
actually listening.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So that's when
That's
I'm
a
like,
good-
hey, come back. I
that's a good-
love to chat, but I got an
That's a-
appointment that's coming up. Gotta get ready for it. Let me call you back or just give me a call back later, but I got it. And they're like,
That's a
oh,
good-
my bad.
yeah.
Yeah, so I always
That's
use,
a good-
so first one is, hey, I gotta go. Or second one's like, hey, I got an appointment. I gotta get out of here. So that always
I'll have to
works.
remember that one.
Yeah.
I have a third.
perfect.
I have a third one to add.
Ooh,
to
okay,
that.
share it. Yes.
Okay, so my third one is give them something to do. So
Mm.
if you can't help them, then you need to call the state Medicaid
Yes.
office, and
Mhm.
here's the number, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
or here's the number for SNAP in your state, or whatever, whatever
Right.
your but
talking about.
give them something to do. This is who you need. Oh, they shouldn't have, this is not the right place for that, because I can help with your Medicare plan, but not getting you more money for your utility bill
Yeah.
or whatever. And, but your utility company, they may have a senior, like where people give $1 on their, when they send their bills in and whatever, they may have something to help keep your power from getting cut off today. And here's the number for your power company, which you can, what's the name of your company? Well, probably on the statements, but if you don't have the number, here's their customer service number.
Yeah.
So that's my third one.
Yes, that's good. That's a good one.
Option
Ooh,
could
4
be-
options.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, when is it not hang up? Right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Fourth option is looking at as snack time and put them on mute and just have your little snack.
Oh
run
my
top.
God, seriously, I know. And everybody
And then when
go,
you're
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Let them talk, and then you finish your snack and say, well, I really think this office would be, and I do the diversion and
Yeah.
whatever. But
But these are all fantastic suggestions.
I like your thing of saying, hey, you know what? I got another appointment here. And
Yeah.
I gotta go. It works every time because they respect your time.
Yeah.
They're like, oh crap, sorry. But I want to go back to when you're asking, like, what do you do when someone's yelling at you? Like we get those all the time. And it's not it's not proven to work every time, but it works most of the time. Because what it does, it snaps out of the call cadence of a sale. So if you have somebody that's just berating you, and it's nothing to do with you, they're just yelling to yell. I said, sir, this is guys most of the time, sir, honestly, why are you yelling? And they're like, what? It's like, why are you yelling? And it puts them on their heels.
Now, are you talking softly when
Yes.
you say?
Yeah. I say, why are you yelling?
that's
Because
what
I'm not going to
now.
combat them because I'm going to lose. When and Frank taught me this too, it's like when they yell, you got to let them yell because there's no way of combating yelling because they're going to either hang up or they're going to get louder. So what I throw the wrench in there and I say, why are you yelling? Well, and they give you a reason. And then that's where you now start controlling the call because now they're giving you excuses or in their mind reasons to why they are so irate. And that's when I can come in and say, look, sir, I acknowledge, and this is good for guys for dating when you're talking to women, acknowledge.
Tell us what we like.
Look at Adrian perk up. Adrian's perking up. Always, and no, joking aside, when you're talking to somebody like that, always acknowledge that their feelings are right.
Oh,
Always.
Bingo.
Always acknowledge. Say, sir,
Write that one down.
always acknowledge. Because what happens is if you tell them, no, what you're saying, they're going to shut you down. But when you say to them, look, when I ask them, why are you yelling? And they tell you why, I say, sir, you're absolutely right. You should be mad. I 100% agree with you why you should be mad. I'm mad for you. I work in a world where I got to deal with that. I'm totally sorry that you have to deal with all of those things. Okay. But you usually don't like to apologize because apologies show weakness. But in this case, like you're showing vulnerability to them. You're saying, I acknowledge that you live in a world where you have to deal with this crap. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with it. But here's your reality. You now have someone really good on the phone. You have somebody now that can get rid of all of those calls. You do not have to pick up the phone anymore. I am going to be your last resort. I'm going to be the one that is going to end this futility of never-ending calls. And then now they have to make a choice. And I say, you have to make a choice, sir. You can talk to me and I can help you with this, or you can continue to have these calls. It is your choice. And now they have to choose, and now I'm engaged with them. And now instead of me just going tit for tat with yelling, I now have completely controlled the call. Whether either that person is going to continue to be a jerk, but I can de-escalate it to get to where I control them, or they hang up. Because my number one, I only have one rule: never hang up on somebody. And that's different for you guys. Like, I don't mind getting yelled at. I don't mind getting cussed at. Because going back to our topic of virtue, part of our virtue is our emotions in our virtues. We put our personal emotional experiences, going back to the exercise. You are good because you feel good when you do good things. And that's part of being virtuous. And my definition of virtue is different. I want the goodness to exist for that person. I don't feel good helping people out. I just do good. So if I have someone yelling at me, I take it. I'll let them yell at me, then call me all the names they want, because I'm just sitting there like, I don't care. I don't care what you're
Right.
saying, because this is only the part of the call where you get to yell at me.
Mhm.
And now at this part of the call, are you done yelling? Is your oxygen that you've pumped in from your oxygen mask empty now? So now I can talk? First of all, why are you yelling?
Right.
Why are you yelling at me? You obviously don't know who I am. You're yelling at the thousands of other people that have tried to call and do business with you. Why are you yelling? Oh, you're yelling because you've got thousands of calls? Yeah, of course you should be mad. Absolutely. You should absolutely be angry, because this is the way Medicare works. You get all these insects trying to infect you.
Mhm.
But now you got me descending from the sky.
Oh, like an
I'm
angel,
stopping.
like
I'm
a-
stopping.
like an
That was
angel.
exaggeration. I never say that. Sometimes I will on a certain day. No, I have said
I
that.
say I'm your Medicare guardian angel.
Yes.
I sure do say
Yes.
that.
And most of the time, I'm not saying it close every time, but most of the time, they, because they're a human being, will realize, okay, this person is trying to do good. They're trying to do the right thing. I'm like, look, and I don't like to say, I'm not trying to sell you anything, because I am trying to sell you something. But what I do say is I say, this is not a sales call. I'm not here to call you because I'm here to sell, like, I'm not here to call you because I want to fix your problems. I'm here to listen to your problems. Because when I listen to your problems, I'm able to fix your problems. And from there, I'm able to get further into the conversation. I've had tons of calls where I get way into the conversation and then they hang up after 30 minutes because they're like panicking and they don't know what's going on, so they hang up. But I know that I did everything I could. That's the one rule. I never, ever hang up. And if there's ever a stasis where there's ever like a stagnancy in the call, I'll go to rapport building. Let's talk about you. Who are you? I don't know who you are. It's been 20 minutes and we've been talking about me trying to chill you out. So let's talk about why you get angry. Are you living your life yelling? You probably yell at your wife all the time. You know, do you yell at your friends? This is how you deal with adversity? Like, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I get into the nature of who they are after I'm able to de-escalate it. But that's the whole point of me talking like this, is that I'm very, very excited to hear how you do in the good, you know, but also how we put our emotions into our virtue and how we feel enlivened when we help these people. But also, I also like to challenge our threshold. Like, how far are we willing to go for these people? Like, let me ask you, Penny, if they don't want help, if they told you, I don't want help, what do?
I would probably ask them some questions
Okay.
about the specifics of what help they don't want.
Right.
You know, what they, and just try. I would keep talking.
Right.
I would keep talking until I
Right.
got a little more information.
Right.
Because sometimes they don't even know what you can help with.
Right.
I mean, you may not have gotten that far into the call or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And I think, we were talking briefly, this makes me think of this in the light of what we're doing now.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I was saying how I didn't know I get like energetic when I get several like negative calls in a row, or like 3 in one morning or something. And I'm like, it kind of jazzes me up, which is the opposite of what you would think. You'd be like, oh.
Use that as your fuel.
Right. I know, I get jazzed up, and I think
Yeah.
it's because I think I can do good with some of these people. Now, I
Right.
don't always succeed, but it's like learning challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it. Some of the people, they just want this. And so, like, it gives me, it fuels me up, and I kind of get silly and like real peppy and energetic when I've
Yeah.
had a couple of bad calls
Yeah.
in a row, because I'm like, oh, well, the next one's not going to be that way anyway. But this is what I learned from
Yeah. I honestly, Penny, I'm going to step out on a limb here, but I really enjoy talking to you about you being a good person. I think you are exemplary. You are exemplary good person. Like you are
A Medicare guardian.
You are like, I just sitting next to you and listening to you, and I'm just so like, you inspire me to be better on my calls, because I am soulless. Like I am like, I don't, but it's not because I don't care. It's because I don't put my emotions into the calls.
Right. You can disassociate.
I disassociate, and that's where my success leads. But also, My weakness is that because I do that, my impatience is not, I'm more impatient.
Right.
But you, because you're so virtuous in the example of today, your emotions are fully invested in being good. So all of your emotions are flooding into being a good person, that even when negativity comes in, that doesn't sway you. You're just like, I'm going to continue to move forward because I know there's someone out there that needs my help. And I think that is something that I need to
Thank
learn.
you.
I just wanted to share that with you. It just inspired me to share that with you.
Thank you.
You always keep a positive attitude,
Love
no
it.
matter how
I absolutely love it.
nasty people can be or how tough
Yeah.
things are. You always keep a really positive attitude. So I
Thank
think
you.
that's inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
thank
sure.
you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have about, we have 15 minutes. I thought it was 10 minutes. So, all right, so let's end on this. So the first part, we talked about being virtuous. Second part is talking about putting our emotions into our virtue. The last part is let's extrapolate it the most. So using my example of being emotionless and you talking about, it's important to be putting our emotions. What would you, like, say we're talking to people coming on, and we're talking about hiring, we're talking about building this floor. This is obviously a philosophical debate. We have our own styles, but when someone asks, give me some advice on what I should be when I'm talking to these people. Should I be more like Grip, where it's like disassociate myself, or should I be more invested into the emotional component because people feed off of that? What would you suggest?
I would suggest that they kind of observe different styles, do some call listening, and hear people's different styles, and take that and how they know that they are personally, kind of decide what kind of style you want to proceed with yourself.
Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah,
would say.
everybody's
That's what I
different.
do.
Everybody's different. Yeah.
If you try to force yourself into somebody else's style, it's going to come
Right.
across as disingenuous. You've got to figure out your own style, and because people can hear that.
Mhm.
They can hear you trying to be fake.
Right.
So you've got to figure out the way you're genuine and the way your style is. And you've got to learn and grow and add more things in there sometimes when in talking to people. That's just the nature of the sales and being on the phone. But you can't force yourself to have somebody else's style, because that's going to come through as fakey, and then they're going to pick up on that all day
Yeah.
long. So
Well, I think I think there's a happy medium between separating the emotions and the wanting to do good or whatever
Mhm.
from the person calling, because we can't help with everything, but sometimes just directing them to who is the person or who is the agency to help them with the problems they're saying, that was already doing the right thing for them. But you have to have enough emotional, I guess, intelligence or understanding about what that family might be going through or whatever when they're asking these questions, to not be, and I guess, again, this comes from all my medical background.
Mhm.
You can't make the disease go away for that person or that family. But what you're doing is trying to make things better for them and livable until, in the end, we all die,
Yeah.
someday, hopefully far down the road, but you can't emotionally invest all of yourself in every patient or you have to direct them to who can help with this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
And then that was the help that you did.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, I don't know, there's a balance, I think.
Yeah, like you say, you don't get emotionally invested, and the downside of that is you get frustrated easily.
Right.
I think us who we do get emotionally invested, the downfall of that is that we start taking on that ourselves, and
Right.
it can
Being
affect
sad
us.
or-
Yeah,
Right.
it can affect
Yeah.
us. And depending on the day or
Right.
what our hormones are doing, it can be better or worse.
This morning, these people, somebody actually finally called me back, and I was like, "Oh, somebody's finally calling me back."
Right.
the lady was like, it was somebody's wife, and she was like, "Yeah, he's got everything set up, but he's in hospice, so we're not going to be needing to buy anything else." And I'm like, "Well, okay. I'm so sorry to hear that." I mean, so that was emotional because I'm like,
Right.
You
And
didn't
I'm
know how
like-
to respond. Yeah.
I mean, I of course said, "I'm so sorry to hear that, and thank you for calling me back." But then I made sure that I'm like, how do I get rid of this person? Like, how do I make sure we never call this person back? Because I don't want to call her back.
Yeah.
You don't know.
kind of want to, like, she doesn't need to, you know what I mean?
Well, that's
Like,
where
that-
you and I differ. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
yeah.
You have an emotional reaction to that. A normal
I
human.
did ask her if she needed help. with
That's
her
that's what I do.
did.
Good.
No,
There it
I
is.
did ask her.
That's what I wanted to
I did
ask.
No, but I did ask her. I
Good.
did ask her.
Good. And
I asked her, but she didn't. She was only
but
63.
some people really feel that's inappropriate.
I did ask
When
her.
someone when
I
you do
felt-
this, you make fun of me for this.
No, I felt a little weird about that. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, but are you? I said, do you, I said, do you need help with your Medicare stuff? I said, well, we're on the phone. She's
Right.
like, no, I've got like 3 more years. I was like, okay, well, she was like, and then I said again, I appreciate you calling me back. I'm so sorry you're going through this. And we hung up. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I did ask that actually.
Good.
So,
So I have that 50-50 thing going on because, like, I hear things like that. Like, I had that one gentleman who lost 3 wives,
Right.
and like long term each.
Yeah. That was
one at a
crazy.
time,
Yeah.
married to one.
Right.
You know, 10 years or whatever, and she an illness.
It's like
and
so I
died.
married an
And
axe murderer.
I
you
know. I was
Right.
like going, I've seen some of these movies. I'm
Right.
like, you know, anyway, but you
Yeah.
know, they each had, and he said what the disease or whatever
Yeah. Right.
that had happened to each one, and one was 20 years, and one.
Jeez,
Anyway,
3
they were
wives.
like, it wasn't. I was like going, I've seen those Black Widow movies.
Yeah.
How much was the insurance anyway?
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I mean, we all get those kind of calls where it's such a
Yeah.
sad tale that it's very sad, you know, and
There's
they
life
can get
too,
to me
right?
after I've had multiple calls like that during one day. I can
Right.
be like, ooh, you know,
Yeah.
but usually, you know, I know some things, and again, that's probably from all that hospital experience. People live and die all the time, and it's terrible and it's sad, and the family's heartbroken. But I'm also was the person helping the funeral homes make the
Mhm.
connections that they
Right.
needed with the doctors or the family or whatever needed to happen.
Going above and
So I
beyond
was-
again.
I'm, you know, doing both sides of the same coin.
Right.
It's all about the one person who died. However, these are the business things that needs to transpire now.
Yeah.
And so let me make all the connections. You have that number, you have that number, everybody's good, you know? So I guess that experience helped me be able to not take it into where
Yeah.
one call is, and that was a terrible.
We just ruined my day. It was just kind of like,
Woo, you needed a
That's
breather
terrible.
after that.
I know,
Yeah,
it's
for
Yeah.
sure. That was a
But-
smart thing to
Yeah.
do.
Well, let me ask you, do you think it is inappropriate to ask someone about their Medicare setup after they just told you that their spouse had passed?
Well, I've changed my mind on that, and I think you've helped needed to see that,
Okay.
and I've kind of done it my own way, which is so when something like that happens, they're like, "Oh, he's died," or
Right.
so and so. You know, my first reaction is to protect their emotions and not, you know, I think it's wrong to then try to pilfer that, But now, and normally I would say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I don't want to bother you. I don't want to upset you," and that's how I looked at it. But now I look at it as, now I do ask them, but in a way that's like, "Are you okay?"
Yes.
You know,
There's an etiquette.
did
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
I found my own way to say, "What about you, honey? You
Right.
gotta get something.
Right.
You want to buy something?"
But I'm see
You're still above ground.
right.
I don't say that,
But I mean to bring it
that's how I looked at
but
it.
to bring it
though.
back in,
I was like, "Oh,
that's what I
weird."
like that you do that, because when you hear, I remember when you first heard me do it, you were shocked. You're like, why are you asking? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it's not, but I'm glad you understood why I did
Yeah.
that. It's like, we have you on the phone.
right.
You figured it out. Like, that's why I'm doing it. Are you good? You know, like you saw what it's like to deal with a death. You know, we're not just trying to change your Medicare. It's like, was your experience the way that it was supposed to be?
Mhm.
Was there anything that didn't, like, do you have a funeral policy for yourself? Because you saw how expensive it can be, you know? So I'm not
Right.
trying to sell you something. It can be
Mhm.
seen negatively as that's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
But as we all are being virtuous, right? We're trying to do the right thing.
Right.
We're trying to lean toward the good. It's like, I want to help you, make sure that when this happens to your family with you, are you going to be having that
But
transition
they
good?
Still,
Right.
They still need this. They still need it.
So if they have
Mhm.
us to do it for them, they don't have to think about it.
Right.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, I still look at it, and I've looked at it, I've reevaluated my feelings about it, and it's now like, actually, I am protecting them and their emotions by asking if they're okay. And because usually, a lot of times, there's usually one decision maker for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if that one passes, well, the other one kind of maybe needs some help, or they're worried
Yes.
about that, and it might help actually take that off their shoulders.
Yeah, I asked that question too, because if you lose the moneymaker in the house, if they were on Medicaid, what happens is that, and this happens all the time with people on Medicaid, is when the breadwinner passes, the income then is consolidated to the next person in the house. So what happens? They get kicked off of Medicaid. So not only
because now they're just over $5 over.
Exactly.
Or whatever. Oh,
So I've had many conversations. That's why I dig in, because now not only are you losing your husband or wife, but now you're losing your insurance. And you have no idea why, because the person that took care of it is no longer with you.
right.
So that's why that's the reason I dig it, not for the emotional reason, but for the logical reason of, I don't want you to deal with that particular issue that I can help you with. I want to go in there and say, look, I just need to know your situation, and I will do whatever it takes to help you trust me. But once you do, I will help you understand that if that situation happened to you, here's how it is preventable. So that way you're not backtracking, because as you know, Medicare backtracking is the worst. We can't do anything. There's a lot of things that we're handcuffed to, backtracking. So it's like, I'm just trying, and I will implore to them, like, please, I know that this is a very sensitive emotional time, but I also know how Medicare works. And I'm just trying to prevent any more disasters from happening.
Yeah. No, I've changed my mind on that.
Good.
And I think putting it in the term of, are you okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
some
I
of
had
them
to
might
do
just
it
cry for a minute and then go, thank you,
Yeah,
no one's
and I
asked
was-
about me, and
Right.
whatever, and they just,
Exactly.
I was
But then
very
they'll
nice-
talk.
I was nice about it. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
said, well, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you
How
need
you
help
doing?
with your-
So she still had 3 years. So I didn't even, it's,
Well, that's all you do.
yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Get out. It's just, I don't want people thinking that it's inappropriate to ask how they're doing
Yeah.
while they just told me that their spouse passed. Because you know what? Most of everybody else is like, oh, I'm so sorry, goodbye. No one ever pushes
Right.
through, ever.
right.
But the first time I heard that, and I'm sure you said other things that were more gentle, but all I heard was like, well, what about you? And I was
Right.
like, oh,
Stephen.
rude.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. You definitely boo-booed on that one.
Yeah, I know you got you a front row seat and you know where.
Yes. Yes.
Waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it may not work. They
Yeah.
may still not be in a place to talk about it, or they
That's fine.
and that's fine.
Yeah. I'm not
and
going to
that's
push
okay.
that. I'm not
And
going to.
those people
by asking,
Yeah.
you've been
I
virtuous.
at least-
You've done your,
Yes. You've
what
done
you
your good.
Right,
You've
right.
done your
I
good.
did my good deed.
And it
Yeah.
was still ultimately,
Really still just trying to help them.
Yeah.
We are.
Mhm.
And I'm not their therapist. I'm not their family
No.
member. I'm trying to be their insurance person to help them in that aspect. So I'm going to ask. I'm not going to push.
Right.
You know, it's like, really? Are you sure you don't want to tell? I'm not going to be a jerk, although I want to, but I'm not going to. But that's why I ask. I just want to make sure
Handle
that
those people
I know no one
close.
asks you. So yeah, that's a good place to end. I'm a jerk. I heard it.
no,
No,
you're not.
I'm really happy where this went. Deep Fridays are different because I like to have, a little more philosophical, a little more, trying things. So I'm really glad. I'm really happy that you guys shared the way that you guys shared. And I'm glad that you guys are all good people and virtuous
So we had
employees,
something to say.
something to say. And hopefully we can take this and apply it to our sales. So thank you guys for watching. This is our Friday session. I hope you guys have a wonderful 3-day weekend and look to seeing you guys on Tuesday. Rip is out. Thank you guys.